Good morning, everyone, and welcome to TCA Live.
Good morning, Christian.
Morning, Andy.
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, as always.
Very good.
So yeah, we have a very special TCA for everyone this morning.
We've had a lot of special TCAs as of lately.
Some would say that we always have special TCAs, but this morning it's extra special because we have a discussion that we recorded just yesterday with and I'm going to get the title wrong, the Vice President of Executive Vice President of AWFS.
Yes. Mr. Angelo Gangone.
Yep.
So we had a great discussion. Actually, you'll hear in the interview there was some breaking news that happened just before we recorded. So we're getting the latest update. You guys are going to hear it first.
That's right.
Here on the TCA.
So we're going to play that. Interview that we had just yesterday with Angelo in just a moment. But first, we just wanted to say good morning. Lots of cool stuff happening here at Weinig Holz-Her USA. We're moving machines in and out of the building. We got a busy showroom this morning, and while the majority of today's broadcast is going to be this interview, we thought we'd just come on and say hi to everyone.
Yeah, the interview went a little bit long, a lot of information. You guys have been expecting it. You're wondering what's going to happen. So we answered, we asked a lot of questions, and we got some very good answers from Angelo. So that it took a little while to do this.
That's right. If you have comments, put them in the feed, and let us know that you're watching. All that good stuff. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm trying to get all the housekeeping stuff out of the way. Yeah, so we'll play this for you. We're all very excited about AWFS. We really are. We're bringing a lot of new technology. If you guys haven't watched the last two TCAs, we have talked about AWFS for 2 weeks straight now.
This is our third week in a row on the same topic.
Yeah, AWFS is the topic, and we've talked about it for 2 weeks. So go back and check out those streams if you haven't watched them already. And this week should be really good, and we'll get this interview underway for you.
Very good.
All right, Andy, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, we are joined this morning with by Angelo Gangone, the Executive Vice President of AWFS. And of course, the biggest news in our industry right now is that we are coming back. We're going to have a show for the first time in a couple of years, and the industry is buzzing. The world is watching. They want to know what's going to happen in Las Vegas this year. So, Angelo, thank you so much for joining us. And maybe just take a couple of minutes to introduce yourself, tell a little bit about what you do with the show, and then we'll ask you the tough questions.
Sure, no problem. Thank you, Andy, and hi, Christian. Thanks for having me on, guys. I've been with the association actually since 1999, first as a volunteer. I've been in the industry since 1992, but in 2003, I moved over to the association side as a staff member. And traditionally, I came in to manage the trade show at first. And from there, I took the entire association duties on as well. And that was back in 2008. So I have been the executive vice president since 2008. But I still have a great deal to do with the trade show as well.
Angelo, thanks for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. And I know everybody watching we're getting excited for the show, but I think everyone has that question in their mind of, what to expect. Can you give folks that are planning to come or are possibly on the fence about coming a little bit of an idea? What can they expect coming to the show this year?
Well, there's a lot of different facets to that, Christian. So let's take it from whatever angle you're talking about specifically first, and we could expand. Are you talking about the?
Well, let's first talk before we get into all the fun stuff, Angelo. Let's first talk about safety protocols in place. I'm sure that you're in communication with the Las Vegas Convention Center, which is where the show is, and probably the city of Las Vegas as well. So, what are you hearing? And, what do you think the show is going to be like for those attendees that are coming wondering if things are going to be open, if there's, is Las Vegas going to look like it's looked before?
Yeah, it's going to have much more of a pre-pandemic feel, actually.
Okay.
And I just got this notice this morning, actually, from Clark County, Nevada, that as of June 1st, they're going to be going back to 100% capacity for just about everywhere, convention center, hotels, casinos, everything. And at the same time, they're going to be following the CDC guidelines regarding mask wearing. So if you are vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. Unless, of course, you're on public transportation.
Okay. Okay. Great.
That's not just at the show. Like you're talking about just in Vegas.
Right. Exactly. That is exactly correct. Which is really something as of June 1st. Yes. So they're still going to require that non-vaccinated people. And by the way, we as show management, we truly would suggest that anybody who is not vaccinated, they wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How closely that will be policed. I mean, you know how many people are in Las Vegas. That's not an easy thing.
Right.
We are going on the honor system, but for people's own safety, for their own health, we do recommend, if you're not vaccinated, please wear a mask. But this is pretty big news, because I know, at least from our surveys and so many other things, people want that sense of normalcy.
Sure, this is the first time.
Yeah, listen, even a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking that masks were going to be 100% mandatory. So this is not an AWFS decision. This is coming from Clark County.
Very good, very good. That is big news. You
That
heard
is.
it here first.
It was breaking news as of this morning. That is correct.
So now let's kind of give everyone back up and kind of give everybody an idea of what that progression has looked like. I mean, even today we're getting this news. Angelo, what is the last 8 months kind of looked for you and the show? I'm sure that there were times where things were in question.
Oh, for sure. And again, there's so many different facets to that as well. The only time I would say that the show was truly in question, and never were we really thinking seriously of canceling it, but back in January, when you had over 200, 300, even at one point 300,000 cases a day. And even back then, because the rollout of the vaccine wasn't really moving yet, so we thought, how the heck are we going to pull this off? We really did back then. We needed some divine intervention at that point, thinking that things looked pretty bleak. And then slowly but surely, between the cases moving down, which incidentally, I want to say by around the 5th, don't quote me on that, 5th of February, right around that time period, along that timeline there, we got under 100,000, which was a huge milestone for us to a degree, because we had been steadily over 100,000 for so long during that outbreak in the wintertime. And then as the vaccine distribution really started to move along, you saw the cases continue to come down. And by March, April time period, we had a pretty good feeling that we were going to be moving forward. We really did. And fortunately now, things have progressed even quicker than we thought with what's going on in the city of Las Vegas, as well as with the cases moving down as rapidly as they are, which is really astonishing. Just if you look at the last 3 weeks, it's incredible how much they've moved down. And of course, as we get more people vaccinated, even that is going to help the cause. So the cancellation was never truly an option for us. We're just fortunate that things are falling into place the way they are.
So kind of along those lines, you know, we've spoken with some other trade shows. We spoke with the folks at Ligna a few weeks ago, and there was a process, certainly a process that that was taken into consideration when they made their decision. The big news that we announced a few weeks ago was that there was going to be no Ligna this year, and there were different areas that they had to touch before they made that decision. You know, they discussed the exhibitors, of course. That's a big investment they have more than 1,500 exhibitors that come in there. The attendees are 90,000+ people that come. And then there was just the third part of it was just their brand as a whole. So you know, when you think about this, we can look at the numbers in the from the CDC, and certainly the U.S. is a little different than maybe other countries, but they would have considered that in as well. But so tell us a little bit more about, you know, beyond just looking at the CDC numbers. You know, how do you arrive at the decision? Were there discussions that were had with exhibitors? Were there discussions that were had with attendees? You know, how do you, you know, because there has to be a little more, you have to feel a little more confident than just looking at spreadsheets before you flip the switch and say, yes, we're going to do this. Because it's a big investment, not just for the exhibitors, but also for the AWFS as an organization. You know, you don't just roll the dice, even though you're in Vegas, right? So tell us more about how you arrived at that decision that, yes, we're gonna move forward, we're gonna do this, even in the year of COVID.
Yeah, that's a great question. And by the way, it was a huge risk for us as well, because you have to understand, we had no cancellation insurance for this because they wasn't even available for any kind of communicable diseases, right? So we realized in putting any type of investment into the show that if we did cancel, we were ready to basically lose whatever we put into the show. Okay, any kind of investment. So, but we still felt pretty confident. So we looked at a few different factors. One of them, of course, is we surveyed a lot of our past attendees, and the big issue that kept coming up and what we saw were that people wanted us to have a live event for the most part. Okay, that was a big thing. People want to get back into living their lives again. And, you know, a lot of these trade shows have had to really scramble when it came down to, especially in 2020, because they had to think of a different way of conducting their business, which is basically face-to-face, right? They're live events. All of a sudden, live events were gone. So some of them did just a fantastic job with a virtual trade show or whatever you want to call it. However, what we found talking to a lot of our exhibitors, as well as some of the attendees, that it just, no matter how well it's planned, no matter the technology, it does not replace that face-to-face component. You know, and again, something that we took it for granted prior to 2020. So there was a lot of that from what we read from our surveys. At the same time, a major issue that kept coming up over and over again was vaccines. People were basically telling us, hey, and this was back in March, by the way, when we first did the first survey, people were saying, I will be there as long as I'm able to get my vaccine. That was the number one overriding factor. So at that time, we knew that they were really starting to ramp up vaccine distribution, which we were hoping everything would go well. We didn't realize how quickly they would be able to distribute these vaccines. So that was a huge part of it. And during that time, we were also looking at our pre-registration, and our pre-registration has run ahead since February. Even though we know that our international attendance is going to be down, the one thing that we did not really foresee, because we were always worried about the attendee portion of this, we really were, was that there were going to have so many issues with the distribution of the vaccine, both in Europe, and one place we definitely did not anticipate was Canada. So as a result, what had happened was that we had people in the show, exhibitors, that were international that had to drop out because of the different restrictions when it comes to travel and quarantining and so forth. That is one area that we did not really foresee. So between all of those things and the fact that we also had to look at our floor, and sure, the footprint is going to be smaller. Okay. And by the way, going back to 2008, which is really interesting because in 2008 for sure, but in last year, in 2020, we had the best, priority space draw. We had the best priority space draw that we've had since 2008, which ironically, we knew what happened in 2008.
Explain a little bit about what that means, the priority space draw.
Okay, that is actually when exhibitors come in and based on this, the number of points that they've been able to, over the years, whether it's seniority points, the size of their booth, there's really a formula there. And based on how many points they get to choose their booth. They get location within the show. So based on 2020, we actually had, it looked like our show was going to continue to grow. And our show has been growing since 2011, 2011 having been the low watermark after 2009. And we all know what happened during those years. But, and then of course, 2020 was going very, very well until we basically learned that this thing was going to linger. You know, because at first we thought this was probably going to pass by the time IWF came around. We were preparing for IWF, and we were all, you know, just like you guys. I mean, IWF, we sell a lot of booth space ourselves. So for us, that was a big disappointment that they had to cancel, but they had no choice. So looking at the footprint of the show, and yes, it is going to be smaller than it was in 2019, but between the survey results, between pre-registration, and then looking at all of the, not only the COVID cases and how they were charting down, but also the vaccine distributions, we took all of those things into consideration, and that sort of, there was no reason to cancel the show when you took all those factors and put them together.
So, and I think yeah, I think you hit it right there. There's no reason to cancel it, with the current climate. So I want to get back to real quick. I want to get back to more things that folks can look forward to when they're coming to the show in July, because Angelo, we are in a new hall this year.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a new hotel in the reservation block this year, so there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. And the show itself, I mean, it's the same great educational track is happening. You know, there's going to be plenty to see on the show floor. But tell attendees, you know, what can they be excited about come July?
Yeah, you're right. First of all, we are going to be in a beautiful new hall, and I'm going to be seeing it for the first time finished, because I did see when it was under construction, and it was really incredible. Even back then, it was really, you pretty much had an idea of what to expect when it was all said and done. But the new hall, the West Hall, is going to be opening for World of Concrete, and we're going to be walking. The staff and I are going to not only be walking that show, but we're going to get a really good look at the hall and with our friends at Freeman over there.
Now that's next month, right? World of Concrete is happening next month in June.
Yeah, I believe it's the 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Okay.
Yeah, World of Concrete. So that's going to be pretty cool, because it's going to give us a really good idea to see that hall when it's being utilized, not just walking, you know, through it, an empty hall. So we're going to get a really good idea of how everything is going to flow, whether it's the traffic, how the freight operates and all of that as far as logistically. So that's going to be a lot of fun. The hotel that we're going to be it's actually our headquarter hotel,
Okay.
is Resorts World. And I know there's a lot of buzz about that hotel, and I've just seen some of the pictures, and it looks incredible. It looks really like it's going to be a beautiful new property. So ours is going to be the first major event where that property is going to be open.
Okay. Wow.
That's another really cool aspect. You know, the big thing about it, and the number one reason that people go to trade shows, and this is where you guys are really going to be important. Of course, you're going to be the most important part because you're the exhibitors. But since 2020, because there haven't been any live events after that first quarter, there have been a lot of new products, whether it's equipment, whether it's possibly software, supplies, what have you, that people have not been able to see up close and in person. And that's a big deal. And that's a really big factor for us. So that's one of the things we really try to promote, because the number one reason that people go to trade shows, and not just ours, trade shows in general, year in and year out, is to see new products. So my question to you guys is there anything that you could tell us that the attendees are going to be able to see in the Weinig or Holz-Her booths, or anything at all that you could tell us about, kind of give us a preview?
Yeah, it's funny you would mention that. That's kind of our theme this time, is to do all new machines, because it has been so long since there's been an in-person event like this. And so some of the machines that we're going to show aren't brand new, but they've never been shown in the US. You know, we have some machines. One of the CNCs, the Evolution, the X-Cut version of that was shown at Ligna last time, but it was never, since we didn't have a show last year, it hasn't been shown in the US yet. We have a chop saw from Dempter, that the S50 Plus, that hasn't been shown. It's a similar situation, hasn't been shown in the US because it was shown first at the Ligna show in 2019. And then we have some machines that haven't been seen at all. You know, there's a new CNC from Holz-Her, the Epicon, that's going to be in our booth. We have some new features, a new version of one of the edge banders in the streamer line that's going to be shown. We have a return conveyor that we're building here in the U.S. that we're going to show on a machine. So yeah, there are a whole lot of machines that will be brand new, and some of them have never been seen at a show like this at all, and some of them haven't been seen since the Ligna show. And so many of the customers, especially from the West Coast in the United States, don't make it to the Ligna show. So most of what we're going to have in our booth hasn't been shown before. We even have machines from partners. Kundig, there's a machine that we actually had planned to show for the first time in the U.S. at IWF, and since that didn't happen, we'll show it for the first time at AWFS. And the same thing with our new partnership with Shota. We'll have a CNC router that we had hoped to be able to maybe show at the IWF show last time, and so this will be the first time we're showing that machine. So yeah, it's all about new things, machines, and our presence in general, right, Christian? We're going to try to have a little more fun in our booth this time as well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. We have a lot of fun stuff planned, and like Andy said, taking a lot of new technology, which we're looking forward to.
Well, you just excuse me, but you just gave people the number one reason to come to that show. I mean, you really put a big exclamation mark on what I was saying in terms of being able to see new products.
Yeah,
this is great, because you are one exhibitor, albeit you're a major exhibitor, but at the same time, just like you and all the other exhibitors that haven't been able to display their new products, there's going to be a hall full of new products to see. So this is so important, because this is the kind of appeal we're trying to make to attendees in terms of what they can look forward to. And you just made a wonderful case for that.
Yeah, and just because we're unsure on just how many people from the East Coast example that might come across. Again, those numbers are going up daily because of the vaccines and because people are getting more comfortable with traveling. But we will also plan to have a little more of a virtual aspect where we're gonna live stream some demonstrations and things in the booth. We're gonna live stream our TCA from the booth, and we'll have our set there. And maybe one of the days we can schedule a time for you to sit down and just give us an update of all the things that are going on, and we'll do that live for everybody to see.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Angelo, I just want to give you the option as we bring this to the close. Any closing remarks to folks who are planning to see you guys out in Vegas? Is there anything else that we haven't mentioned?
Not really. Actually, I think we hit some of the main points there, Christian. The only thing that, Andy said something very important. We're going to have some fun. Okay. We're going to have some fun. We're going to get back together. We're going to see old friends. We're going to be able to meet face to face and do something we haven't been able to do in a long time. So it's not just about the whole experience and conducting business. It's about having a good time and reconnecting. And that is what our theme has been all along.
Yeah.
And we just want people to come out, feel like they're going to be safe, so they could stay healthy and just enjoy themselves.
You know what? I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. And we think that it's going to be a great show. Andy and I and all the team here at Weinig Holz-Her USA have been making the preparations needed to have a good, successful show, and we can't wait to do that.
Absolutely. We're ready to see more than just a rendering of the new hall and hotel.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So, Angelo, thank you so much for your time this morning on TCA. We really appreciate it. We think the world of you guys, and we can't wait to see you all in person.
Thank you so much, guys, and you guys are great partners. We really appreciate it.
All right, take care. Hey, everybody, welcome back to TCA.
Big news.
Yeah, so that's exciting. That was our interview with Angelo yesterday. That was just yesterday afternoon, where he broke some pretty big news.
Yeah, you saw him pull it off his printer, the news from the county there, in Las Vegas, that everything will be back to full capacity. The only place where, of course, they're going to suggest that people have on a mask if they haven't been vaccinated as they're walking through the show. But as far as the city of Las Vegas goes, they're all open. June 1st, they're going to open up completely unless you're on public transit. So if you're on the monorail, a lot of people for our show will be taking the monorail over to the show. They will expect and require that you wear a mask when you're on the monorail. But other than that, casinos will be at full capacity. Hotels are at full capacity. The convention hall will be at full capacity. And as we mentioned, this is a brand new hall that we're going to be in. There's a brand new hotel that's next to it that a lot of the people that come to the show will be staying at. So there are a lot of things to be excited. Lots of new machines. It's a first show like this in a couple of years. It's the only show like this year. Yeah,
very exciting, and all kinds of new technology will be all over the show floor. And I thought that was a really good point. So we're excited because of all the new machines and the new technology, the new features that we're bringing into our booth. But in the scope of things, we're only one exhibitor, right? So I mean, I would assume that most exhibitors have been just kind of storing up all these new things that they want to show on a trade show floor, and this is the chance,
Right, it's going to be a little different. For those who are not planning to come out, though, we made mention in the interview, we will have a live stream version. We will live stream demonstrations.
That's
we will live stream hopefully some interviews with Angelo. Angelo, you committed right there. You're gonna have an interview with us to tell everyone how things are going, and we'll have some customers in and things like that as well.
Yeah, it'll be there'll definitely be a digital aspect to the booth.
Yeah.
So. Yo, everybody, thanks for watching TCA every week, 9 a.m. On Tuesdays, and we're live. So, again, thanks for sticking with us this morning. We hope that you enjoyed that video and maybe learned something. Maybe you're a little bit more excited about the AWFS show. If you guys have any questions for Weinig Holz-Her, or you're looking for a pass for the show, get in touch with your local Weinig or Holz-Her rep. They'll be able to hook you up.
Yep, very good.
All right, Andy, so that's a wrap for this week.
That's a wrap.
All right, we'll see everybody next week on TCA.
Very good.